Hello, my name is Amanda Mansell. I am majoring in the Arts and Science of General Studies as well as the getting my associates in radiology. And I decided to do my research over reading comprehension deficits in adolescents. So, why is this important? And what is the problem? So, reading comprehension deficits is the disability that a person has with understanding words, or phrases of a passage. So the individual is unable to connect to the key components of passages and relate them to things that they already know in order to grasp a full understanding. So poor reading comprehension hinders the child's ability not only academically, but mentally as well as emotionally. So, this can cause the child to fall behind academically. This can negatively impact their social skills, feeling of incompatibility or unintelligent, low self esteem issues, and confidence issues. And this also relates to dropout rates as well as suicide increases. So, on a regional level, in regards to the issue with reading comprehension, this can include numerous things that can impact a child academically, emotionally, mentally, and impact as well as the state finances. So, children that have reading comprehension deficits are more likely to repeat the school year, and dropout rates increase, and they can also acquire poor grades. So, this can affect the way that they see themselves. This can be very psychologically devastating on a child, including when you have to sit down, you really have to tell a child that they cannot move forward in their grade and have to explain the reason why behind it. It can be very psychologically devastating to them. So, in the state of Oklahoma between 2015 and 2016, more than 10,000 students were retained between kindergarten and the second grade, along with 2,500 students in the third grade alone. So 4% of children with reading proficiencies that are above the required reading proficiencies do drop out of school. 9% of children with basic reading skills do drop out of school before high school, as well as 23% of children that are below basic reading grade levels will drop out of school before high school. So, on a national level, over 36 million adolescents in the United States either cannot read or they have issues with reading comprehension. So 72% of children whose parents have low reading levels also struggle with reading, causing them to repeat school years, drop out of school, high absenteeism rates, poor grades, and low self esteem. 43% of adolescents with reading comprehension issues grow to live in poverty. By the time a child is in the fourth grade, they are expected to meet key reading markers for their education in order to succeed in other subjects. If a child is not proficient in reading, it is harder for them to succeed academically. If It was found in 2016 by the Landmark study that a child who struggles with not only reading itself, but actually comprehending what they're reading is more likely to drop out of school. Children found to have increased reading comprehension obtain better jobs, they have increased earnings, increased health, and fewer chronic conditions. So, this being said, it was found in 2019 that $232 billion each year go towards healthcare cost of those with low reading comprehension. So nationally, 3% of kindergartens lack the basic needing skills to learn to read, whereas 65% of fourth graders read below grade level. That is over 50% of fourth graders read below what they are supposed to be reading at. So over 8,000 students drop out of school daily in the United States. On a global level, this can cause a major impact as well. The actual percentage of children who struggle with reading globally can vary widely depending on the individual's characteristics, the quality of instructions in each school, and the income is correlated with literacy. So, people below poverty line account for over 58% of children with reading deficits, and most of them do not obtain a diploma or a GED. Language skills are impacted by reading comprehension and the ability to learn more vocabulary. So without a solid ability to comprehend, this leads to more debt in the country due to school funding, medical bills, personal debt, etc., which can impact trade, communication between countries, environmental issues in order to continue to improve the way of life. So here's some statistics that I did find. As I was going over before, regional wise, 23% of individuals that read below their grade level with reading comprehension end up dropping out of school before high school, whereas the individuals meeting basic reading proficiency drop out at around 9% rate, and individuals that are where they need to be or above in reading proficiency have a 4% dropout rate. Global impacts. The world itself has a 15% of adolescents that read that have issues with reading comprehension, whereas North America and Europe combined is about 14% within the two countries that have reading deficits. So, things that we can do to better improve this is reading comprehension is a major thing that's going on around us every day. It's not looked upon as much as it should. It's not talked about as much as it should. So the future of our world is struggling, and as parents, teachers, and even bystanders, solutions need to be found to help them. Children have low self-esteem issues, causing them to be embarrassed to go to school or not wanting to improve in school because they're having not feeling intelligent or having emotional issues or mental issues about the way that they see themselves because of this deficit, which increases suicide rate, dropout rates. So, in order to help our young minds, we need to understand that all children are not academically equal. Because a child's in the third grade does not mean that that child has a third grade mentality or even a third grade level to comprehend what they're reading or learn at a third grade level. More accommodations need to be made in order to start the child off at where they need to be and build them up. So if a child goes into the third grade and they're reading at a second grade level, start them off at a second grade level and build them to where they need to be at. Don't assume that they can go in the third grade reading at a third grade level and give them third grade material and expect them to comprehend it. um, it's not going to improve them academically. So maybe go into more free tutoring, and not only tutoring that can go to the child's home. There's a lot of parents that have jobs that's not able to get their child to tutoring um, throughout the week. But if you have free tutoring in counties that are able to go to the child's home and assist the child with the areas that they need to be assisted in, this can greatly improve their skills that they have. So, as parents and teachers, we need to look for signs early as well that can negatively impact reading comprehension, such as dyslexia, ADD, ADHD. All of those things have scientific impacts on a child's ability to comprehend. And I also think that maybe having an outside support system. So even with counselors in school, if a child is able to go and see them that's having reading deficits and they're able to talk to them to make sure that mentally they're okay as they're going through school and improving through school and not just letting them sit there day over day and having these mental impacts um, because of what statistics say that children should be reading at per grade level. So the references, the one that I wanted to point out is the bottom one. It's a paper that I read a couple of times. Then more than one half of children, adolescents are not learning worldwide. This really breaks down the difference between the countries in the world and what affects their reading. And is it economic issues? Is it the school that they're going to? Is it financial impacts? And the difference between male and female, and things like ADD and ADHD that really can affect their minds as learners.